10 ways to improve your speaking skills. Welcome to Whispered Hub, your go-to channel for learning English. If you want to speak English fluently, you've come to the right place. Improving your speaking skills takes time, effort, and consistency. In this video, we will share 10 tips to help you speak English more fluently. Follow these tips and make the most of your language learning opportunities, and you'll see progress in no time. Let's get started on your journey to becoming a confident English speaker. Tip number 1. Start your day with English. One of the best ways to fit English practice into your day is to do it first thing in the morning. It ensures that you carve out time for language learning and don't let other activities get in the way. There are many different things you can do with your morning English routine. One option is to spend 10 to 15 minutes reading an article or blog post in English. It allows you to brush up on grammar rules and expand your vocabulary while keeping things low-key at the start of the day. If listening comprehension is your primary goal, try spending 5 to 10 minutes catching up on the news in English. Podcasts are also an excellent choice for morning listening practice. Just make sure they're not too long or challenging so that you don't get discouraged before starting your day. Tip number 2. Talk to yourself in English. One of the best things about how to talk more fluently is to start talking to yourself in the language. It may sound silly, but it's a great way to get comfortable using new vocabulary and pronouncing words correctly. Self-talk also forces you to slow down and think about what you're saying, which can help prevent errors when speaking with others. Additionally, this activity allows you to practice thinking in English, which will be handy when participating in the conversation or giving presentations. If self-talk feels too strange at first, try starting by muttering under your breath instead of speaking out loud. Once you get more comfortable with the idea, gradually increase the volume until you're yelling at yourself. This simple exercise easily fits extra English practice into your day without even trying. Tip number 3. Keep an English language journal. Writing in a journal is a great way to improve your English language skills. It gives you regular practice with spelling and grammar and allows you to express yourself in detail without worrying about making mistakes or sounding foolish. Also, try writing for at least 10 to 15 minutes on a topic of your choice. It can be anything that interests you, from your plans for the future to what you did yesterday afternoon. Make sure that whatever you write is in all English, no cheating by slipping in some words from your native tongue. If you're struggling with ideas, consider using prompts to help jumpstart your journaling sessions. For example, brainstorm a list of topics ahead of time and then randomly select one each day to write about. Alternatively, you can find online journaling prompts specifically designed for language learners. Tip number 4. Memorize examples with vocabulary words. A great way to expand your vocabulary is to memorize example sentences along with new words. It will help you remember how to speak fluently, use the word in context, and better understand its meaning. Additionally, seeing the word in different sentence structures will help prevent errors when using it yourself. To make things easier, try focusing on one topic at a time and write out 5 to 10 example sentences for each vocabulary word related to that theme. For instance, if you're learning about food, you could include phrases like, I'm going out for dinner, or, what's your favorite type of cuisine? Once you have your list ready, practice these sentences each day until they become second nature. You can mix things by saying them aloud, writing them down from memory, or testing yourself with flashcards. Tip number 5. Exercise your mouth muscles. Exercising your mouth. https://promovia.com/english-vocabulary/parts-of-the-mouth-vocabulary muscles can help with pronunciation, one of the most challenging aspects of learning any new language. By ensuring that your tongue and lips are used to the movement required for specific sounds, you'll be less likely to make mistakes when speaking. Fortunately, you can do many easy exercises at home without special equipment. One popular option is to place a finger on your chin and say, ing, repeatedly. This helps get you used to the correct position for producing this sound. Another helpful activity is exaggeratedly enunciating consonants like t or p by saying them as loudly and clearly as possible. You can also try looking in the mirror while performing these exercises to see exactly how your mouth should move. Just don't get too caught up in what you look like. After all, no one else will be able to see you. Tip number 6. Copy a native speaker. One of the most important things you can do to learn how to talk English fluently is to find a role model. This is someone whose English speaking skills you admire and would like to emulate. Listening to native speakers is a great way to improve your speaking ability. But simply listening is not enough. You must also imitate what you hear to make progress. Whenever possible, practice copying the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation of native speakers. It will help your ear produce more accurate sounds when speaking English. Additionally, matching another speaker's mannerisms will make it easier for people to understand you when communicating in real-life situations. Tip number 7. Learn some tongue twisters. Tongue twisters are short, rhyming phrases designed to be challenging to pronounce. While they may seem like nothing more than a child's game, tongue twisters can be pretty helpful for language learners of all levels. Since tongue twisters focus on specific sound combinations, they're an excellent way to practice pronunciation. They can also help you get comfortable speaking quickly, which is often necessary for everyday conversation. Additionally, repeating tongue twisters aloud can help reduce your accent and make your speech sound more natural. Some examples of popular English tongue twisters: https://promovia.com/blog/the-tricky-art-of-english-tongue-twisters include: How much would a woodchuck chuck if the woodchuck could chuck wood? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? She sells seashells by the seashore. How can a cat catch a rat if the rat ran right across the flat mat? Of course, not all tongue twisters are created equal. Some may be too difficult for beginners or focus on sounds that aren't common in English. When choosing tongue twisters to learn, look for ones that use simple words and target the sounds you struggle with the most. Tip number 8. Think in English. One of the hardest things about learning a new language is thinking in that language instead of your native tongue. It can be complicated when you're trying to speak spontaneously or participate in a conversation. However, It's essential to make an effort to think in English as much as possible if you want to become fluent. Try paying attention to your internal monologue throughout the day to start thinking in English. When you have a conversation with someone, think about what you would say in English before translating it into your native language. It may seem strange initially, but it will become easier with practice. You can also use visualization exercises to help yourself think in English. For example, picturing yourself giving a presentation or having a conversation with friends can help you plan what you would say ahead of time. These mental exercises will make speaking spontaneously much more straightforward and help train your brain to think in the new language. Tip number 9. Read out loud. Reading out loud is another excellent way to improve your English speaking skills. As with self-talk, this activity forces you to slow down and think about what you're saying. Additionally, it's a great way to work on pronunciation and overcome the fear of reading aloud in front of others. Choose a piece of writing that corresponds to your skill level. If it's too complicated, you'll get frustrated and be unable to focus on proper pronunciation. Start by reading a few sentences out loud, then gradually increase the length until you're comfortable reading an entire paragraph or page without stopping. Once you've mastered that, try moving on to longer articles or even chapters from books. Tip number 10. Learn synonyms. One of the keys to sounding like a native speaker is using different words to express yourself. It doesn't mean you need to memorize huge vocabulary lists, but knowing different words with the same meaning is helpful. That way, you can choose the perfect term based on context and your audience. For example, big can be replaced with huge, massive, or gigantic, depending on what you're trying to say. Likewise, there are many ways to say nice, including phrases like cool, great, and awesome. Learning synonyms is also helpful for expanding your English vocabulary in general. You'll start noticing new words and phrases when listening to conversations or reading texts by thinking about how different terms could be used interchangeably. As a result, your vocabulary will grow naturally without much effort.
Thank you for watching. We hope these tips help you speak English more fluently. Remember, practice and patience are key. Keep working on your skills, and you'll see improvement. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Whispered Hub for more language learning tips. See you in the next video.